Good morning, and welcome to another Tierra Nueva devotional. This morning, I wanted to share with you two Psalms that I personally feel helps to illustrate the true nature of God and who God is and wants to be in our lives. So often I can be left with this feeling like God's mad at me or I did something to upset him. I just think that's some of my own personal beliefs. Like, I don't know, I always struggle with this feeling like I'm constantly doing stuff wrong. So when I project that on who I think God is, it comes in as I'm doing something wrong and God's mad at me. So two of the Psalms that really help me remember the true nature of God and who he is Psalm 23, the Lord is my shepherd, and Psalm 32, blessed are the forgiven. So I'm going to read these for you. I'm going to read both of these for you real quick. I'm going to start with Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For you are with me, your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies, and you anoint my head with oil, and my cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. So here's a really good illustration of what the true nature of God is. God is not a punisher, he's a shepherder. He leads us. And he doesn't want to lead us into the valley of the shadow of death. He wants us to go chill on the bank by a lake in the woods where it's nice and peaceful and calm and relaxed. But he's also saying, the psalm also is saying that when we do enter into that valley of the shadow of death, we shouldn't fear because God is with us. He's not just leaving us to our own devices and saying, figure it out. No, he's saying that I'm standing right in there with you. The other thing that I struggle with is the true feeling of being forgiven. I don't know if you guys ever struggle with that, but every now and then I'm jolted awake at night by past deeds, and then just this overwhelming feeling of guilt and sadness and remorse. And I know I've taken this stuff to God before, and I know that I'm forgiven for it, but that inner voice that often lies to you the best is the one that is the loudest. And the true nature of God says that through the sacrifice of Jesus Christ, we are forgiven. He shed his blood so we wouldn't have to. And so in Psalm 32 is a really good illustration of how we are forgiven and that we're actually blessed as the forgiven. So I'm going to read that for you also now. Blessed is the one whose transgression is forgiven, whose sin is covered. Blessed is the man against whom the Lord counts no iniquity, and in whose spirit there is no deceit. For when I kept silent, my bones wasted away through my groaning all day long. For day and night your hand was heavy upon me, my strength was dried up as by the heat of summer. I acknowledged my sin to you, and I did not cover my iniquity. I said, I will confess my transgressions to the Lord, for you gave the iniquity of my sin. Therefore, let everyone who is godly offer prayer to you at a time when you may be found. Surely in the rush of great waters they shall not reach him. You are a hiding place for me. You preserve me from trouble. You surround me with shouts of deliverance. I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my eye upon you. Be not like a horse or mule, without understanding, which must be curbed with a bit and bridle, or it will not stay near you. Many are the sorrows of the wicked, but steadfast love surrounds the one who trusts the Lord. Be glad in the Lord and rejoice, O righteous, and shout for joy, all you upright in heart. So I wanted to point out the flip that happens right here is in Psalm 32. Is blessed the forgiven is the person who is writing this he begins the statement with blessed are the one whose transgression is forgiven, and he talks about that inner turmoil of not being honest with God and asking for forgiveness. He says, for when I kept silent, my bones wasted away. And so often I fall into that place of like, I just need to lament this out to God and trust him and trust that I am forgiven. And it doesn't always happen. I hold it in there. And so for day and night, your hand was heavy upon me. My strength was dried up as by the heat of summer. And that's just what I think about when I'm woken at night for past deeds that I know that I've been forgiven for, is that I'm not actually letting the hand of God come in and heal that place. But God really flips it around in verse 8, because it's kind of God speaking here, where he says, I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. So again, we need to trust that we're forgiven. We need to trust in God and his true nature is to love us and not to condemn us, to embrace us and not to persecute us. Blessings, my friends.